It's believed that approximately 70% of the Earth's surface is water. So yes, under such conditions, we should call the planet something else. However, more than 80% of the underwater kingdom remains unexplored. People have never been to some places at all, literally. But to find out what secrets are hidden down there, you'll have to go to the top first. Nope, I'm not talking about the ocean surface, and I'm not even talking about Everest. We're going even higher, to Olympus. This is the highest mountain of the solar system. It's located on Mars, and it's so big that if we stood at the very center, we wouldn't be able to see its edges. Yes, people know what the surface of Mars is like and what distant nebula look like, but we still have no idea what's right under our feet. Well, it's time to fix it. Today, you'll find out what's hidden in the deepest place on our planet and why people don't want to study the ocean, and what would happen if mankind postponed research for a couple hundred more years. There was one very deep place on our planet that everyone can find. Even right now, it's enough to open Google Maps. Look, here it is. It's a little darker than everything around it. That's it. But in fact, it's not just a spot of a different color. It's about 7 miles down. That's incredible depth. You can put anything there. The Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, Big Ben, even Everest, and there would still be room. But how is it that something like this is formed near the Mariana Islands? Well, I'll just say the process wasn't fast, and there were some tectonic plates. Yes, these are the huge pieces of lithosphere. Our planet is covered with them. Several million years ago, some plates began to move apart because of the movement of magma pushing others. As a result, one piece of lithosphere went under another, and there it is, the Mariana Trench, the deepest abyss of the planet. By the way, these processes with lithospheric plates don't occur only in the ocean. Due to changes in the depth, that also applies to the land. Melted magma can rush inside a mountain, specially designed for this purpose. Losing water and gas is on the way. In the end, the mountain behaves like a bottle of soda when it's well shaken, with a slight correction for the fact that instead of the drink, there's hot lava inside, able to destroy everything in its way, plus ashes, plus pieces of rock. For example, this happened with the Soviets. Can you imagine how surprised the people of Pompeii would be if they found out that all the horror that happened to them was because the planet had moved a little bit? On the other hand, it's unlikely that they were so worried about the reasons. Almost everyone died anyway. Okay, since we have dealt with the lithospheric plates, let's cool down a little and let's look up. Today, 12 people have managed to visit the moon. It's quite a lot given how difficult it is to get to, but the Earth satellite is nothing compared to the Mariana Trench. Since it's been found, only 12 people have risked going down there, but you don't even have to leave the planet for such a trip. In addition, unlike the people who visited the moon, these people didn't even try to leave the limits of the Bathurst cabs. They just sat inside looking out the windows and at the instruments. By the way, one of the researchers of the Mariana Trench is considered to be James Cameron. Yep, the same guy with Terminator, Titanic, and Avatar. We are no worse than he is. Let's try to immerse ourselves in the deepest point of the planet after the famous director. Approximately 90% of life in the ocean is concentrated in depths from 0 to 200 meters. At 240 meters, one could meet a nuclear submarine if they sailed into the Mariana Trench. 318 meters is how deep a record-breaking diver could dive. It's getting darker. At a depth of 1,000 meters, we can barely see the sunlight. Then the darkness comes, but this doesn't prevent some whales from reaching the mark of 2,500 meters. Even lower, at a depth of about 3,800 meters, we would see the Titanic, if it hadn't sunk elsewhere, of course. Let's raise the stakes. In about 7,700 meters, the last live fish was seen. If we go even deeper, somewhere around 8,850 meters, we will reach the top of Everest. Don't you remember we decided to drown it at the beginning of the video? And now, finally, the deepest point. Our bath escape reached the Challenger Deep, which is about 11,000 meters. Wait, why do we need these bath escapes at all? Is it really impossible to find some comfortable and super fast modern suit for diving and dive in? It would probably be easier, faster, and much cheaper. Well, it would be a lot faster, because the one who decided to dive into the Mariana Trench in a simple suit wouldn't have lived to the bottom. Even the most modern suit would survive a dive of only a few hundred meters. After that point, a man would inevitably be killed by extreme pressure. It's simply impossible to withstand such conditions, even if you have the most ideal health in the world. Alas, we have to use bath escapes. And here, we finally reached the bottom, the deepest point of the world ocean. By the way, we're now much closer to the Earth's mantle than usual, but on a planet scale, of course, it's nothing. Wait, what the hell is this? A plastic bag? No, really, in the Mariana Trench. No, guys, I understand it. I won't expect the rift with monsters like in Pacific Rim, but a bag? Hopefully, we won't be finding a cheeseburger package and a Starbucks cup on the surface of Mars. Oh, and by the way, can you see this funny bearded guy? His name is Victor Vescovo. He not only found a bag at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, but
it was an amazing experience. It was an amazing dive.
Also, he found a couple of new animal species, which is a historical event already. But he also visited the deepest points of each ocean. Before that, Victor managed to conquer Everest. He climbed everywhere he could. He's a very persistent guy. Let's leave the dive to the Mariana Trench for a few seconds and instead move in time. Let's move back about 60 years to the Trieste bathyscaphe, when people were able to dive to record depths for the first time. It happened in 1960, and the expedition consisted of only two people, the American oceanographer Don Walsh and the Swiss engineer Jean Piccard, whose father built the bathyscape. However, before diving into the Mariana Trench, Trieste managed to dive in various other places, so that there was a serious upgrade. The weight of the bathyscape was increased. The thickness of all that was found was increased too. The diameter of all the portholes was reduced, and in the end, the dive took place. The descent was uneven. The bathyscape froze in one place every now and then, and the crew had to drop some gasoline or a special steel shot. In the end, a little less than 5 hours later, Trieste touched the bottom. The device recorded a depth of 11,521 meters. But the biggest surprise for the researchers was the fish, which looked like a flounder, something that reminded of a shrimp. Yes, at such a depth where there should have been no life at all. But the shrimp didn't care much. Around the same time, at another point on the planet, another immersion at an incredible depth began, but this time it wasn't water. I'm talking about drilling the Kola super deep borehole. You've probably heard something about it, especially if you like movies about different creepy things. There are a lot of them on the internet. In fact, the history of the Kola borehole is less mystical, but still interesting. In 1997, the borehole was listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the deepest human invasion of the Earth's crust. Its depth is 12,262 meters. The drilling was indeed stopped because of the accident, but not because demons had come out of the borehole. The drill string just broke down once again, and there was no money for repairs. It's unlikely that Satan is to blame, although if he didn't approve the loan, there's something about it. It's very difficult and very expensive to go into the depths of our planet. It's much easier to go into the ocean. Also, there are many more secrets. In any case, it seems so at first sight, but if there are so few explored things underwater, but there are a lot of cool things as well, why don't people devote enough time to the ocean? In fact, some people are really concerned about the study of the ocean. These are people who are engaged in the oil industry. In the last 20 years, there has been a real explosion of deep sea research. People construct new pipelines, anchors, study the infrastructure of oil wells, they do business. There are special robots that roam the ocean floor where people can't reach. Whoa. If this all exists, why not explore the world ocean properly? Well, in fact, the ocean is boring. Yep, you got it right. People who really do it claim that most of the ocean bottom is like dirt. It's something like space, but there we can look through space, see something far away, and from that set new goals. We can't even count on something like that underwater. That is, you can't just move in the middle of nothing. And it's also difficult, of course. There are beautiful and interesting places, but they are very few. And what about the deep water inhabitants? Most of the time, they aren't ready to be studied in water. In other words, they try to get away from the explorers things as soon as possible. At the same time, most of them are simply unable to survive the ascent to the surface. And don't forget about the cost of underwater expeditions, because it's huge for many investors. Such an investment seems meaningless, as most likely people will never be able to establish a colony at great depths given the current technology level. So the only prospect for bottom exploration is the oil industry, and everything has been clear with it for a long time. People spend a lot of energy, time, and money on space exploration. They take pictures of black holes, track asteroids. Someone has even been busy waiting for the invasion of aliens. But what if the threat doesn't come from above, but from below? Well, one can only hope that people will begin to devote more time to what is under our feet. Well, you know, the people of Pompeii didn't. You see what happened to them. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like the video, and be sure to write comments if you have something to say. Make sure you don't miss our next video. For that, just press the bell. You know how it works. See you later.